What's going on YouTube? JT Reborn here, and welcome to the final video of 2021. It's been quite the crazy year, but I think overall was an improvement over 2020. And I think we're going to go and try and end this year on a high note by talking about something that I quite enjoyed. And that is none other than Cobra Kai Season 4. Now, I've loved every season of Cobra Kai, been a big fan of the Karate Kid series growing up. First one's still my favorite, and then 2, and then 3. Next Karate Kid's just not the best. 3 is not the best either, but its saving grace is Terry Silver. 2 has some interesting ways where it evolves the story forward, but I think this season, in particular of Cobra Kai, is definitely heavily based around what happened in the events of Karate Kid 3, which wasn't a very popular entry in the series. But what I love about Cobra Kai is it fully respects the lore of the Karate Kid and actually finds ways to build upon it. And I gotta say, they found a way to build upon Karate Kid Part 3 and made one of, if not the most compelling season yet of this series. I don't know how they continued to do it, but the writers on the show find ways, I don't know how, but like to keep making such really good, compelling television. Now, when this season was announced, I was most looking forward to the return of Terry Silver. It's something I've been wanting to see since the events of Cobra Kai Season 1, which you can go ahead and check out my thoughts on the previous 3 seasons. I'll leave links in the descriptions. But I've been waiting for the return of Terry Silver, and the writers found an interesting way to kind of develop him and kind of flesh him out in new and unique ways. They do explain that Terry in the 1980s was super high on cocaine, which totally makes sense given how batshit crazy he was in the Karate Kid Part 3. Thomas Ian Griffith, this is the first time I think I've seen him in anything really since Karate Kid Part 3. He easily slips back into the role of Terry Silver. In fact, Terry's quite different when we first meet him this time around this season. And over the course of the season, he slowly kind of starts to evolve back into the old Terry. Like John Kreese kind of awakens that. But the plot this time around with the season is, if you remember the events of Season 3, at the end of that season, there was kind of a deal made between John Kreese, Daniel, and Johnny. But basically, the deal was that whoever won the All Valley tournament, the other dojos would leave. So if Daniel and Johnny won, then Cobra Kai would be no more, and Kreese would be out of their lives forever, and vice versa. So now we got this season. So Johnny and Daniel are going to have to kind of learn to set aside their differences. And we have Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate working together simultaneously. And of course, that's where the peak comedy comes in. Johnny and Daniel's training styles and methods are both completely very different. Daniel is more of a defensive kind of person. Johnny is definitely more offense and just being an outright asshole. And there's some great comedy sprinkled in throughout this particular season. I mean, Ralph Macchio and William Zabka have really good on-screen chemistry. And not just them, even the kids themselves are really fleshed out and they do some unique stuff. In fact, I was actually really happy that they tried to do something this season around with Daniel's son, because he's been kind of forgotten the first 3 seasons. I'm like, raise your kid better, man. Like, Daniel's son is just such a little shit. And even in this season, he is, but there's a little bit more to him this time around. And that's the thing with all the characters in the show. Nobody is quite fully evil. There's still some certain gray areas there. Even characters like John Kreese, he still has a soft spot for Johnny in some ways. And also he definitely has a bit of a softer side for Tori. And it's explained in the flashbacks and why he is that way. So there is sort of this small compassionate side with Kreese that's still kind of buried deep within inside him. So I really like that. He's not fully 100% evil. He's definitely the bad guy. He does terrible things, but there's still something inside of him. And that's the case with all the characters. Sometimes they keep the different students kind of switch allegiances. You have Hawk, you have Robbie this time around, Sam LaRusso. Pretty much everyone just kind of, or Eli. All the characters get their moments to kind of shine this time around. And they're also working towards introducing the next generation of students, like they were doing with this new kid this time around, who kind of mirrors a little bit of Daniel in the first Karate Kid movie, and Robbie kind of takes him under his wing. In fact, he actually has a connection to Robbie in a way, because it was his brother that Robbie fought when he was in Juvie in season 3. So you have that going on there. And like I said, there's some peak comedy in here. Daniel and Johnny do not get along. There's a lot of really funny stuff because of that. Like, for instance, Daniel at one point is trying to have like a calm meditative session. And because Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate are at some point training in the same dojo. And as Daniel's trying to keep a calm peace, you just hear Johnny in the background is like, "Don't be such a pussy, take it." Just like, there's some really great comedy. Like, Johnny is my favorite character on the show. He makes the show, and Daniel's great too. But like, Johnny is just peak comedy with some of the shit he says. This show is completely unrealistic, by the way. In fact, it just gets so outlandish. Like, yeah, these people would be arrested or there'd be 100 lawsuits, but you don't really care. You're just here to have some fun. You know what Cobra Kai is? It's kind of a live action anime. Like, it really is an anime, but like, it's the best live action anime I've ever seen. Because like I said, like, everything's just kind of like started out as just this small feud between Daniel and Johnny. It's just evolved into this crazy universe where the whole town is just in on like the karate phase and everyone's just fighting each other. There's different factions, kids constantly switching sides. There's just so much going on there. Like, they've really built this expansive universe, and it's just really exciting to see. Now, like I said before, the thing I was most looking forward to with this particular season was the return of Terry Silver, and Thomas Ian Griffith is really good this season. When we first introduced to Terry this time around, he's kind of very different from the Terry of old. He doesn't have the cocaine. He's kind of cleaned up his life, and John Kreese is kind of the one who kind of almost awakens the darker half of Terry Silver, because Terry is like, I've moved on, I've evolved past this, and you see it like kind of slowly, like the madness kind of comes out. He's like, okay, we got to do things differently. But over the course of the season, he kind of changed. He still has that loyalty to Johnny, but he's like, no, I've moved past it. Like, I did some really stupid things. I'm trying to do better now. But then, like, slowly but surely, the old Terry Silver awakens, and it's just that darker side to him. So it's just really cool to see. And like, it's weird too, because like, John Kreese kind of awakens the darker half of Terry Silver, but when Terry starts to go a little bit far, like, he's kind of like, Kreese himself is kind of changing. It's like, okay, maybe that's a bit too much at times. That's what makes it so interesting, is you never know what direction the show's going to go in. Like I said, there's more with that. You still have Robbie and his relationship with his father. Robbie is actually kind of becoming one of the best characters on the show over the course of the series. Like, seasons 1 and like 2, I wasn't the hugest Robbie fan, but like this, like, once he cut that ridiculous haircut, he started to really improve for me as a character. I felt like his change was too soon in season 1, and then season 2, it's just, and then I think once he went to Juvie, he's kind of like shifting alliances, because like, his thing is like, he doesn't trust anybody. It's like, you know what, I don't care who I'm learning from, I just got to look out for me and me alone. So I like that bit's there. He kind of has a little bit of a fling with Tori, which, by the way, like Sam LaRusso and Miguel and Tori and Robbie, like, they play musical partners, and it's just kind of like just so like crazy, like how insane this thing goes. And some of the other characters like Hawk and Eli kind of have their moments too. So like I said, like, everybody has some interesting stuff going on this season. In fact, they find ways to bring back other characters like Stingray, who wasn't absent in the previous season. Like, they found a way to bring him back, and it's really funny. And there's some surprise cameos, like Carrie Underwood randomly shows up for a musical number, I guess, this season. So that was going on. And also you have like even Daniel's wife like having a thing, kind of trying to help Tori out too. I thought that was quite interesting. Like I said, the show just continues to be interesting. There's some great comedic stuff, particularly with Johnny. And then there's also things that they're doing to set up season 5. So if you don't want to know what happens at the end of this season, I'm going to spoil it from this point out, but I do highly recommend you check out Cobra Kai season 4. It's fully out on Netflix. I just binged the whole thing. I think it's incredible. So, spoilers for the finale, but Cobra Kai wins the tournament, which is basically going to be it for Miyagi-Do and Eagle Fang Karate. Miguel kind of went off to go find his dad, because he's got to find his place, because he kind of like at a certain point was like, I don't even know what I'm fighting for anymore. And then Tori wins the tournament, and it's kind of like due to shady tactics, you come to find that Terry has kind of like turned back into his more monstrous self, and he's paying things off. He's just basically like trying to do things to like bring back Cobra Kai. It's like he finally got what they were trying to fight for in Karate Kid Part 3. And you know what? I think what's going to happen now. Like, because at the very last scene of this season was Daniel was visiting the grave of Mr. Miyagi, and then you come to find out that he wasn't alone there. Chosen, the villain from Karate Kid 2, who Daniel reconciled with last season, is back, and it seems he's going to be working with Daniel to kind of teach Miyagi-Do karate. But this also makes me wonder, now that Terry Silver had sent John Kreese to prison because he said Kreese was kind of his weakness. So he framed him by assaulting Stingray, and he blamed it all on John Kreese. And now, like, John Kreese is going to go off to prison, so Terry Silver is just kind of taking charge. Like, the old Terry just is fully emerged by the end of the season. I thought that was quite a fascinating thing. It's like he was cool, and then just the madness just kind of, like, came out of him, which is great. I'm excited to see Thomas Ian Griffith kind of take charge as the main villain for the next season without, like, fully getting rid of Kreese altogether. So you got that going on there. I think that now that he's going to have several Cobra Kai dojos going on, I think in order to teach it, he's going to bring back Mike Barnes, which will be really cool to see. So you're going to probably have Mike Barnes in season 5, and you're going to have Chosen, you're going to have Daniel, and you're going to have Johnny. So it'll be kind of like the 3 versus like 3 in a way. I don't know how it's all going to factor in, but I totally see this is how the writers are going to find a way to bring back other characters from the Karate Kid franchise. And the thing is, it all feels earned. Like, I mean, when season 1 came out, I was like, man, I really want to see Terry Silver, but like, you had to be patient. You had to wait for it. And they fully delivered it. Like, the writers are so good at crafting such a really good, compelling story with all these different character relationships and ways to keep the series going. They find ways to make these kids kind of feud with each other, and just Daniel and Johnny and Terry and Kreese. Like, it just is all so compelling and fascinating. I just really love the show. I thought the season just delivered another excellent season. Every season's been a winner for me, and I just can't wait to see what they do for season 5. Apparently they already filmed the whole entire thing, so hopefully we won't have to wait an entire year for the new season of Cobra Kai, and it should be exciting to see where they go from there. So anyways, I think that's all I have to say. This is the last video of 2021. I just wanted to wish you all a very happy new year. Thanks for following the channel. This past year we hit some milestones. I hit 2,000 subscribers, which was really awesome, so I appreciate that. A lot of stuff coming up for next year, but I just want to wish you all a very happy new year. Thank you so much. And yeah, I really appreciate the support. And if you watch Cobra Kai Season 4, tell me your thoughts in the comment section down below. And what are your theories for Cobra Kai Season 5? So that's all I got to say. Yeah, Happy New Year. As always, take care now. Bye-bye then. And I will see you all in the next video. Peace.